Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New Stack Demos. I'm your host, Heather Joslin of the New Stack. And today we're going to talk to Zohar Einy of Port. He's the CEO and co-founder. Hi, Zohar.
Hey, Heather. Thank you for having me today.
Can you tell us a little bit about Port and what it does?
Yeah, definitely. So we started Port around 2 years ago after we had the chance to build an internal developer portal for a very large organization. So we had the chance to build a developer portal for over 2,000 engineers for an organization that we worked for. Mm-hmm. And this is what got us inspired into starting a company around it and allow every organization in the world to adopt a portal. And this is how we see the importance of it, making sure that developers are self-sufficient, they can roam freely and get everything that they need with a click of a button using a portal. So this is what got us into Port.
Great. And we're eager to dive in and have a look at how it works. I want to say, first of all, thank you to Port for sponsoring today's demo. And before we get into that, just very quickly, where does an IDP sit in platform engineering? What is its role?
Yeah, so if you think about it, in the past few years, we did a lot to kind of building all the automations and pipelines and infrastructure as code, and breaking our code into microservices, and a lot has been done in the past few years. And when you think about developers that need to kind of get their way around of all the moving parts of software components, it became a little bit complex for them. So many organizations managed to get into a maturity level of their DevOps practices. And now it's time to kind of making it accessible for the developers to be able to understand the moving parts of the software development lifecycle, all the microservices, environments, deployment, and so on in one context, while being able to also act upon the portal and consume actions like scaffolding microservices, starting ephemeral environments for developers, spin up a cloud resource, and so on and so forth. So developer portal are the way for developers to get their way around of DevOps without the need of opening a ticket or depend on stale documentation.
It streamlines and simplifies things for them, so they can build their apps and
exactly.
So let's see how it works.
Great. So this is Port's product. This is where the developers can get everything that they need when it comes to delivering software within their organization. So the product is built out of 4 main tabs. You have the catalog, where you can see all the different software components developers need to know. So they see here all the list of microservices, their code owners, the language, the link to the GitHub URL, the Slack notification channel, the on-call, Jira tickets, and so on and so forth. Same goes for every type of component that is being mapped for developers to get a level of visibility. So you can see here all the Kubernetes clusters. You can see here all the different environments and understand for each environment what are the services that are currently running there, as well as being able to understand the version and the deep links to all the observability tools for each service. So the second tab is the self-service action tab, where developers can get everything that they need when it comes to provisioning infrastructure or performing day-to operations and so on. So we can see here a couple of examples of actions that developers can perform. For example, scaffolding a new service or create an ephemeral environment, restart the service in Argo CD, or any type of other action. And you have the home tab, where you can create the experience that you want for your developers, the landing page explaining them what is the portal that you've built for them as a platform engineer and what they can do with it, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing about Port, to know about it, is that a developer portal must fit into the business needs and the organizational needs. So at Port, we took a non-opinionated approach of building the portal. So we do not dictate how you should build a software catalog, what should be the data model, and what actions will be in it. But we give you the tool set to define what you want to show your developers. So what we see here is a bunch of boxes with arrows and names, right? Each box that you see here is called a blueprint. A blueprint is a first-class citizen feature in Port, and Port is very unique to the blueprint concept, which lets you, as a platform engineer, decide what are the software components you'd like to manage a life cycle around them, right? So you can create any type of blueprint. Blueprint is fully generic, and you can give it any name, any icon, and decide what it means for you. So for every blueprint that you create, for example, the service blueprint that I created using the add button, a page will be created in the catalog, right? So for every blueprint that you create, you can see the relevant tab in the catalog, whether it's feature flags, vulnerabilities, cloud permissions, deployments from CI/CD, and so on and so forth. So you are able to decide what developers will see about each blueprint. So the way that you are able to control over the table and the structure of it is by defining the schema of each blueprint. So you can define what are the different properties that then translates into columns that developers will see. So we can see here the GitHub URL, the Jira issues, the README, and so on and so forth. Then Port will require you to bring the data from somewhere, right? And this somewhere can come from different places. It can come from an API call because Port is an API first solution. It can integrate with your CI/CD, your Git providers, Kubernetes, cloud, infrastructure as code using our Terraform provider, for example, to ingest data for every Terraform apply, Terraform destroy, and so on and so forth. And Port is also an open platform, so you can implement your own custom plugins the way you want. Then all the data will flow inside Port, and you can see for every entity that you click, all the metadata about it, like in the recommendation service page, the README, the Swagger API page, and you can embed frames from external tools to see everything in one place. Developers can also see all the relevant information about the lifecycle of the service. They can see where it's running right now, the different environments, the versions, all the deployments that took place for the service, dependencies to other microservices, feature flags that are turned on, and so on and so forth. And you can look at things from different angles. For example, if you want to drill down on a running service in a particular environment, you can see runtime information about it. You can see embedded views from observability tools like Datadog, for example. And you can also see the relevant information to the running service, and you can also see it as a graph view from this page. So you can see that this running service is running on this cluster, and this cluster is deployed on this cloud region. You can also allow developers to perform actions. So let's demonstrate one of the actions. If I want to create a new service, I'm going to give it a name. Choose the relevant team. And by the way, the platform engineer can decide how exactly the form will look like for the developers and what are the different inputs that they need to fill out. Once they click execute, the developer will see the running action, and once it's done, they will be notified about it. They will gain access to develop this new service right away. Port also provide a way to create scorecards for different software components. Scorecards are the way to define the guardrails you want to put in place for your developers to be able to comply with their organizational standards. Here you can see the production readiness checklist for a service before it goes to production. And if this degrades or you have an issue of one of the services, you can execute a runbook or send a Slack notification channel to the relevant team to automate your incident response processes, right? So you can create a scorecard for every type of blueprint inside Port, and you can basically get a deep control over the development lifecycle for your organization. So the idea with the developer portal is to make sure that you put everything for developers in one place in a way they can find their way around it while making sure that they comply with your organizational standards and still have fun while delivering code. So this is what we do at Port. We give you the tool set to create the portal that best fits your organizational needs rather than dictating the way it should look like and make the decision for you. So I hope it makes sense. And you can, by the way, you can check out this demo at demo.getportal.io. It's publicly available and you don't need to authenticate, and you can play around with the demo and you can break it. It will refresh after 3 hours, so don't worry.
Sounds good, and it sounds like be very useful to a lot of organizations and their developers. And we'll put the link for that demo in the notes for this. And just to thank you very much, Zohar, for joining us, and thank you for all of you for joining us for this demo. I'm Heather Joslin for the New Stack Demos. See you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Port is an open internal developer portal owned by platform engineering teams and built for developers. Port consolidates everything developers need to know and execute to deliver software autonomously and to comply with organizational standards. You can open a free port account at getport.io.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on all the major social media platforms. You can always find us at thenewstack.io. We hope to see you soon.